Hello dear students, as you all know we are doing oscillations of class 11th. It is chapter number 14 in physics. We have done two parts. Okay, today we are going to do third part. What we have done till now, let me give you a quick revision. First of all, we have understood that if a body is executing a motion, oscillatory motion, under this condition, means the force acting on the body is in proportional to the displacement from the mean position, and the direction of force and displacement is in opposite direction, then the motion is said to be simple harmonic motion. From here we have reached till here also. So if the acceleration acting on the particle is proportional to minus x, then also it is SHM. Then after we have done, if general expression of SHM we talk about, so it is A sin omega t plus b cos omega t, which can further be represented as single function of sine or cosine, or we can say simply x a cos omega t, or x is equal to a sine omega t. They both represents what? They both represents SHM. Okay, in the last video lecture we have done a question also, that if something is given, then out of that how we calculate amplitude and all. That's all we have done. Okay, so today we are going to do one example of SHM. Then after I'll proceed with velocity, acceleration, phase relationship, velocity and acceleration, then energy in SHM. Okay, so these all topics we are going to do today. So let us move ahead to our next topic, that is SHM in uniform circular motion. It is example of SHM. Okay, so let us move ahead. Let us start our first topic of today. It is simple harmonic motion in uniform circular motion. Although these two topics are far different from each other, means uniform circular motion, in this a body moves on a circular path with constant speed, whereas simple harmonic motion, in this body oscillates about a mean point, with the body oscillates to and fro about a mean point, and force acting on the body is directly proportional to the displacement from the mean position. These two are very far different things, but we can club them. Now how here we are going to do that? Let us see. Suppose if a body is moving on a circular path, okay, if a body is moving on a circular path, this is how the body is going. Suppose with angular velocity omega. Okay, omega is the angular velocity with which the body is moving, right? And it is uniform circular motion, so basically omega remains constant. Suppose body starts from here. From this point body starts. Body is going towards that side, then this side, then this side, then like this. What I'm going to do is, suppose if the instantaneous position of body is here, so this is the radius, capital R. Okay, if angle is omega, and from here till here if time taken is t, so this angle is going to be omega into t. Okay, this angle is omega into t. How that comes? Omega is equal to angle upon time, so angle is equal to omega into time. Okay, from here that theta comes out to be omega into t. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to take projection of this point, its position, on the y-axis. Okay, if I take projection, so I must take this point as my projection. From the origin to this point, let us define this point as a height of y. Okay, as the particle goes in the above side, the upside, this projection also goes upside. When the particle comes down, its projection on the y-axis, it also comes down. When the particle goes this side, then its projection comes down to this point, and then when the particle goes this side again, then the projection goes upward. So as the particle is moving on this one, the projection on this one goes upward, then comes to mean position on the origin, then goes downward, then again come to mean position. Motion of particle is not SHM. Actually, motion of its projection on the y-axis is SHM. Just see, if the particle goes like this, its projection goes upward. If the particle is going this way, then its projection comes downward. As the particle goes this side, its projection comes downward, then after comes to again mean point. So as the particle is moving in uniform circular motion, its projection on the y-axis, it is executing SHM. And suppose if I want to know the value of y, if this angle is omega t, then this angle is also going to be omega t only. In this right angle triangle, in front of omega t, y is perpendicular. So what I can write? I can write y is equal to capital R sin omega t. Y is equal to capital R sin omega t. Suppose if I take projection on the x-axis, so this is the projection. From here till here, let that distance be x. Now again, if the particle is moving from this side, its projection on the x-axis, it is moving this side. When the particle goes that side, its projection on the x-axis, it moves this side. Particle goes this side, projection comes again at the mean position. Particle comes over, projection comes here. If I want to calculate the value of x, then value of x comes out to be, say this is your omega t, this is a right angle triangle, this is base. So what we can write? I can write r is equal to, x is equal to r cos omega t. I hope this equation is clear. Simply if I take sin omega t is equal to, so it is perpendicular upon hypotenuse, this is your perpendicular, this is your hypotenuse, it is y upon r. From here y is equal to r sin omega t. In this triangle, if I take cos omega t, so it is base upon hypotenuse, so it is x upon r. So x comes out to be r cos omega t. So the projection on the y-axis, and it's the distance of the projection from the origin, it can be represented in terms of single sine of single cosine. It is on y-axis, it is on x-axis. So in this way we can say that this projection is executing SHM. Why is it so? Because this can be represented in terms of sine. This can be represented in terms of sine. Okay. So in this way we can say this projection on the y-axis and the projection on the x-axis, or you can say in any of the diameter, is executes SHM when the particle is moving on circular motion. It is very simple. Now I'm moving ahead in this only. This is displacement, okay, and let us take this capital R as capital A, okay, because A is called amplitude. In the last turn we have said that I have defined that also. So y is equal to capital A sin omega t, because A is what? Amplitude. In this case, that amplitude is equal to what? Radius. Okay, in this case, capital A is equal to what? R. Is it clear? Now, from here we can be said that it executes an SHM. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to calculate the velocity acceleration of the particle executing SHM. Means I am talking about the oscillator, not about the particle who is doing simple uniform circular motion. Next is velocity in SHM. Velocity in SHM. So basically y is equal to what? It was capital A sin omega t. If I differentiate it, so v is equal to dy by dt. Y is what? Displacement. If I differentiate the displacement, what I am going to get? Velocity. So v is equal to dy by dt. So a differentiation of sin omega t, and I hope you know the differentiation of sin omega t, it is cos omega t, and since omega t again differentiated, so it is omega. So velocity comes out to be a omega cos omega t. Now that cos omega t can be written as under root 1 minus sine square omega t. Simply from the trigonometric identity, in place of sine omega t I can write 1 minus, from here it is y upon a whole square. So here, from here we can get v is equal to a omega. If I take LCM, it is going to be a square minus y square upon a square. A square comes out to be root out of root and it will be cancelled. So v is going to be what? Omega under root a square minus y square. This is the value of velocity of the particle executing SHM. Now just see, we have two different cases. Case 1, if y is equal to 0, I am talking about mean position. So if y is equal to 0 at mean position, then v comes out to be omega into a, which is basically the maximum value of velocity possible. Okay, and the case 2, when y is equal to plus minus capital A. So if I put plus minus capital A, then v becomes 0. This is what? This is extreme position. Extreme position. Extreme position, right? Extreme position. What I mean to say is, suppose if I take an example of simple pendulum. So this position is its mean position. If it oscillates, it goes over there, then goes over there, it oscillates, goes over there, then goes over there. So at the mean position, its velocity will be maximum. And when its velocity will be 0? At the extreme position, this position, its velocity will be 0. Where its velocity will be maximum? At the mean position. So it happens with all the things which executes SHM. At the mean position, velocity is maximum, it is given by omega a. And at extreme position, velocity is 0. Okay, so basically what happens, when particle goes towards the extreme, its velocity decreases. At the extreme, velocity becomes 0. Then after it comes towards the mean position, velocity increases. Then again from here it goes to the another extreme, means towards the amplitude, again velocity becomes 0. Then again it comes to mean position, velocity becomes maximum. This will goes on in a cycle. Okay, so this is how velocity is being calculated. This is the general formula, and this is velocity at, this is maximum value of velocity, and this is velocity at the extreme position. Okay, so from here we should note that the value of velocity is this in terms of omega t, in terms of displacement it is like that. Okay, now I'm going to calculate acceleration. Okay, I'm removing from here. Now let us say about acceleration. Acceleration in SHM. So what we have got? We have got v is equal to a omega cos omega t, right? A omega cos omega t. Now if I differentiate this velocity, so acceleration is what? dv upon dt. So a comes out to be d by dt of velocity a omega cos omega t. Okay, so a omega is not being differentiated, it comes out of in differentiation. The differentiation of cos omega t is minus sin omega t, and omega t is again being differentiated, so 1 omega comes out to be here. Now from here what we get? We get a is equal to minus a omega square sin omega t. In place of a sin omega t, what we can write? We can write omega square into x. Sorry, I have taken y in the beginning. So it is y. Just see, y is equal to a sine omega t. In place of a sine omega t, I can write y. So a is proportional to what? Minus y. That we have done earlier also. So acceleration, the value of acceleration is a minus omega square into y. Now since we have calculated the things, we have already discussed yesterday also, that omega, that relation between omega and time period. So I've already told you that omega comes out to be what? 2 pi by capital T, or T is equal to what? 2 pi by omega. The time period is given by this. So the value of acceleration is, in terms of sine omega t, it is this one. So if I say the acceleration when it is maximum, when it is minimum, so if at mean position y is equal to 0, so acceleration is equal to what? 0. At extreme position, when y is equal to plus minus a, so accordingly acceleration comes out to be omega square into a, the magnitude of acceleration. The direction of acceleration is always towards the mean position, right? The direction of acceleration is always towards the mean position, because acceleration is in the direction in which the force is being applied, and the force is in the direction of mean position, towards the mean position. So acceleration is also towards the mean position. So from here till here, it is all about velocity and the acceleration. If now I'm going to write, displacement is already written over here, velocity, acceleration, and then we will discuss the graph of them. Okay, so let us discuss phase relationship between velocity and acceleration. Okay, let us discuss. Let me write all the equations over here. What the value of velocity has come? The value of velocity is, just I have removed that. The value of velocity I have written over here, a omega cos omega t, right? A omega cos omega t. Value of acceleration is minus a omega square sine omega t. Okay. Now what we have to do, we have to describe their phase relationship. Okay, so let me remove all this. Okay, now if we have to discuss the phase relationship, we must ensure that if this is in sine, so velocity should also be in sine, and the sine of omega t should be same. Okay, so that when we calculate the phase difference, omega t is cancelled out. I'm doing it, then after I'll explain. So v is given by a omega cos omega t. This omega t can be written as, cos omega t can be written as sine omega t plus pi by 2, right? Sine omega t plus pi by 2. Why am I writing plus pi by 2? Just see, sine 90 minus theta is also cos theta, and sine 90 plus theta is also cos theta. So why I am writing this plus 1? Why I am not writing the minus 1? The reason is, if I write pi by 2 minus omega t, so omega t will become negative. And now the phase of velocity is omega t plus pi by 2. And here the phase is omega t. When we calculate the phase difference, suppose if I would have written it a omega sine pi by 2 minus omega t. So if I calculate the phase difference between these two, the phase of displacement is what? Whatever written in front of sine, it is omega t. And what is the phase of this one? That is pi by 2 minus omega t. So if I differentiate, if I take the difference, so omega t will not be cancelled out. It will be 2 omega t minus pi by 2, which is not wrong. But if I want to know what is the phase difference, I must ensure that in the phase difference time should not be there. If time is there, that simply means that phase is being changed with the time. And for that thing, the phase difference becomes a bit complicated. That's why I've written omega t plus pi by 2. So when I take the difference, what will happen? Suppose if I write omega t plus pi by 2, so omega t plus pi by 2, so pi omega t and omega t will be cancelled out. And what I'm going to left with? Only pi by 2, which remains constant with the time. So it becomes easier to understand the phase difference. That's why I've written omega t plus pi by 2. Now, if I denote this velocity with this displacement, and if I compare them in a graph, then how this graph will be drawn? Suppose these are the axes on which I have to draw the things. On this, y is being drawn, on this velocity is being drawn, on this acceleration is being drawn. Okay, so let me make all the angles also. This is your pi by 2 for all of them. This is pi, this is 3 pi by 2, and this is 2 pi. Right? Now just see. If y is equal to a sine omega t, so it simply denotes the graph of sine. So sine omega t, it is wrong. The graph should not be like this. At omega t it becomes maximum, no? So graph of sine omega t, as per this what I have made, is going to be like this. Okay, at omega t, sine is maximum. But when we talk about this one, v is equal to a sine omega t plus pi by 2. Its phase is omega t plus pi by 2. And its phase is omega t only. So basically velocity is leading in a phase pi by 2. Where is the pi by 2? Here. So what will happen? The graph of velocity will start from this particular position. Okay, it is ahead. Right? So the graph of velocity will start from here. Means when the t becomes 0, it becomes sine pi by 2, which is maximum. So it starts with maximum. And the graph goes like this. Okay, graph goes like this. At pi by 2, it becomes 0, because pi by 2, when we put pi by 2 omega t pi by 2 plus pi by 2, it becomes 180 degree, sine 180 is 0. Okay, if you have any problem, you can draw the graph like according to this also. Cos omega t, this is simply the graph of cos omega t. Now comes to acceleration. The value of acceleration is minus a omega square sine omega t. Now what I have to do is I have to adjust this negative sign, and I have to take this omega t as positive also. So what I can do, I can write like a omega square sine omega t plus pi. Okay, yeah, pi plus omega t. In this way, this goes in the third quadrant, sign becomes negative, so here the negative sign will be there. Now what is the phase difference? With the displacement it is pi, with the velocity it is pi by 2. So from here the graph will start. From pi it will start. Means from here it will start. So graph goes like this. Okay, graph goes like this. Just see minus sine omega t. If sine theta graph is this one, then minus sine theta graph will be just mirror image of that. So this is the graph of acceleration. Okay, this is the graph of acceleration. If you are not able to understand about this one omega t plus pi, then simply draw the graph according to this one. This is the graph of cos omega t, and this is the graph of minus sine omega t. Okay, this is how the graph is being drawn, and this is how we understand the phase relationship between velocity, acceleration and displacement. Who is leading the phase? Who is in the most, you can say, ahead in the phase? Obviously the acceleration. Just see it is omega t plus pi. Who is behind? Obviously displacement, it is omega t. The phase difference between displacement and the velocity is pi by 2, and the phase difference between velocity and the acceleration is again pi by 2. It is pi by 2, it is pi, so pi minus pi by 2, we are going to have pi by 2 only. What is the phase difference between displacement and the acceleration? It is pi, because it is omega t, it is omega t plus pi. Just subtract that, you will get that. Phase is nothing, just remember my words, phase is nothing, it is whatever written in front of sign, it is considered as phase. So here omega t, it is the phase. Here omega t plus pi by 2, it is the phase. Here omega t plus pi, it is the phase. So why I am not comparing phase here? Because it is in cos, it is in sine. Obviously they will vary differently, and that's why we cannot compare the phase. Okay. So this is the phase difference, phase relationship between velocity, acceleration and displacement. Okay. Now let us move ahead and let us discuss energy in SHM. So our next topic is energy in SHM. Energy in SHM. Okay. Let us discuss that. If the particle is moving, obviously it will have kinetic energy. So let us start with kinetic energy only. Value of kinetic energy is given by what? Half mv square, right? So half will remain half, m will remain m obviously. Velocity of v, just we have calculated the velocity of v. Okay. So velocity of v was, if you remember correctly, it was equal to what? It is equal to omega under root a square minus y square, where y is the displacement obviously, whole square. Okay, a omega a square under root a square minus y square whole square. So if I square them, what I'm going to have? Half m omega square a square minus y square. Okay, this can be considered as also a formula for kinetic energy, and we'll place the value of omega also. From where the value of omega comes, if you remember, F was equal to minus kx. So F is equal to ma, which is equal to minus kx. A is equal to minus k by m into x. This k by m considered as omega. So minus omega square x. So the value of k by m is equal to what? Omega square. So in place of omega square, what we can write? We can write m into k by m. So m and m will be cancelled out. Okay. Here a square minus y is. So from here I am going to have half k a square minus y square, which is the formula for kinetic energy at a particular position. What is the k? K is force constant. Okay, k is force constant. So this is what? This is kinetic energy. Now let us come to potential energy. Potential energy. Potential energy stores in a body when the body moves under the influence of a conservative force. Okay, I hope you must have studied in work power energy. Force is of two types. One is conservative, one is non-conservative. When the force acting on the body is, when the work done by the force is independent of the path, then the force is said to be conservative. And when the force is conservative, then potential energy is being stored, and the change in the potential energy at a particular point is not defined. We define what? Change in potential energy is given by what? Minus times work done by conservative force. Minus times work done by conservative force. So if I take, this is the important word, if potential energy at mean position is 0, if we consider it, then potential energy at displacement y is given by, so u final minus u initial, change in potentiality u final minus u initial is equal to what? Minus times work done by conservative force minus times work multiplied by dx, limit from 0 to potential displacement y, not x. It should be y because all the things I'm calculating in y only. So f dy. Okay. But the thing is, direction of force and the direction of displacement, force, displacement, they are in opposite direction. So that's why here one cos 180 comes also, cos 180. And because of cos 180, the angle is, the value of cos 180 is minus 1. So this minus and this minus will become what? Plus. So what I'm going to have? I'm going to have, and one more thing, u at mean position we have considered as 0. Let it be u naught. Okay. At the last we'll put it 0. So u initial is going to be u naught and u final is, let us u. So u minus u naught I'm going to have. Cos 180 is what? Minus 1. Minus minus will become plus. Value of f is equal to what? 0 to y ky dy. Okay. F is equal to minus kx. If displacement is considered as y, I should write ky. Now k comes out of integration, and I'm going to have y square by 2, 0 to y. So if I solve it, I'm going to have that only. U minus u naught is equal to k y square by 2. Or in a simpler way, we can write half k y square. Now I just say, if at mean position displacement, mean position, u naught is equal to 0, if potential energy at the mean position is not 0, which is not necessary, okay, sometimes you'll have some value of potential energy, but in most of the cases, that mean position at the the potential energy at the mean position comes out to be 0 in most of the cases, but not in all the cases. So if u naught is equal to 0, if u naught is not equal to 0, you are going to consider this one only, u is equal to u naught plus half ky square, if it is not 0. But if it is 0, then you are going to consider u is equal to what? Half k y square. Okay, u is equal to half k y square. So value of kinetic energy is equal to k is equal to half k a square minus y square, and the value of potential energy is equal to u half k y square. Okay, just you have to note down from the lecture only. So just take the screenshot and note down. I'm moving ahead. I'm going to calculate the total energy. I have to remove all the things. Okay. Note down the things. Now I'm going to remove it. So we have got these two equations. K is equal to half k square minus y square. U is equal to half k y square. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to calculate total energy. So total energy E is equal to k plus u. If I add them, what will happen? Half k can be taken as common. So it will be a square minus y square minus a square. Sorry, y square. Okay. A square minus y square plus y square, because plus sign is there. So y square and y square will be cancelled out, and total energy comes out to be half k a square. The thing is, it does not depend upon y. So basically total energy remains what? Constant. Total energy remains constant. Now just try to understand the variation. If I talk about kinetic energy, k is equal to half k a square minus y square, right? So at y is equal to 0, k comes out to be half k a square, which is equal to total energy. And at y is equal to plus minus a, k is equal to 0. Where is the y is equal to plus minus a? Again, I am taking the example of simple pendulum only. Simple pendulum oscillates like this. So this is y is equal to plus a. This is y is equal to minus a. And this is what? Y is equal to 0. Okay. So y is equal to plus a. Kinetic energy is 0 because basically the body will stop for a moment. Y is equal to minus a. Again, kinetic energy is 0 because it will stop for a moment. But at mean position, it is maximum. It is half ka square. Whereas if you try to understand the variation of potential energy, it is half ky square. So basically when y is equal to 0, u comes out to be 0. U comes out to be 0. And when y is equal to plus minus a, whatever, then u comes out to be half ka square, which is equal to maximum energy. What is happening? At mean position, k is equal to half k a square, u is equal to 0. At this position, k is equal to 0, u is equal to half k a square. At this position, k is equal to 0 means kinetic energy is 0, u is equal to half ka a square. What is happening? The thing is, one more thing very important. The sum of these two energies at any point of time is equal to half ka square. This is also important. Let's just see what is happening. When the pendulum is going from mean position to the extreme position, what was there? Here kinetic energy is maximum, potential energy is 0. Here kinetic energy is 0, potential energy is maximum. In other words, I can say that all the kinetic energy has been converted into potential energy. Okay. See, just k was half ka square, it is 0. U was 0, it is half ka square now. When it comes back, then what will happen? What will happen? Again, this kinetic energy is 0. It becomes half ka square. Potential energy was half ka square, it becomes 0. Kinetic energy has been converted into potential energy. Again, from here it goes this side. Kinetic energy converted into potential energy. Potential energy converted into kinetic energy. From again it comes back. Same thing is happening. So basically conversion of energy is being taking place. Conversion of energy is taking place. Kinetic energy is being converted into potential energy. Potential energy being converted into kinetic energy, right? And sum of both the energies are constant. So if I plot a graph to understand the variation, suppose on this axis I have taken y, basically displacement it is, okay? Don't misunderstood that on x-axis I have taken y, it is displacement. Here I am taking energy. So particular point denotes half k a square energy, right? So if I talk about kinetic energy, here it is minus a, here it is plus a, okay? Kinetic energy is maximum at the mean position. Here it is y is equal to 0. So graph of kinetic energy is like this. Okay, graph of kinetic energy is like this. Potential energy at the extreme position it is maximum. Here it is maximum. Okay, and at the mid position u is 0. So graph of potential energy is like this. Okay, so this is the variation you can understand. This particular graph is kinetic energy and this graph is of potential energy. Okay, so this is how the energy is being converted in SHM. I hope you are clear with all this. Okay, sum of both the energies always remains constant and it is equal to half ka square, kinetic energy half ka square minus y square, potential energy half k y square. Now in this chapter only examples are left. Okay, we'll prove some motions to be SHM. So these all those things we are going to do in the next video lecture. Okay, this is all for the day. Thank you.